I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment.
Tukiwa na wewe mambo yako yenda kombo.
Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good morning, Kenya.
We shape your day.
Good morning, Kenya. Every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
June the 25th, 2025, a very instrumental day for Kenya, as thousands of Kenyans have come out in large numbers in commemoration and remembrance of over 60 Kenyans who were killed during last year's protest. We're keeping tabs on that note. Good afternoon and a warm welcome. My name is Njue, and Anne Wangeshi is my colleague on the sign language interpretation. Time to have a look at the headlines shaping up the news conversation in the country at this hour. We begin with the security situation in the CBD, that is the Nairobi CBD, where Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen arrived at Nairobi Central Business District to assess the state of security plans ahead of the June 25th anniversary protest. Murkomen interacted with security personnel attached to Harambee House before proceeding to the CBD to interact with Kenyans. He assured the public of enhanced security and safety in the city.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen kicks off his day at Harambee House to assess the state of security ahead of today's protests.
Morning, sir. Yes, sir.
After a brief interaction with the security team at Harambee House office, the CS proceeded to Central Business District to meet with Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja in his Jugo House office. Shortly after, it was time to take a stroll in the city while interacting with Kenyans. Here, he assured them of security even as he called on them to remain calm. Most of the roads leading to the Central Business District remain deserted, with only a few vehicles entering and leaving the city centre.
Meanwhile, opposition leaders led by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka laid a wreath at the Holy Family Basilica in honor of those who died during the 2024 anti-finance bill demonstrations. The leaders, in condoling with the families of the victims, reignited calls for justice, demanding the arrest of police officers behind the killings. Further, they called on the country to pause, reflect, and say a prayer for justice for the families and the souls of the departed. At the same time, they condemned the use of hired guns to intimidate citizens and discourage peaceful demonstrations. They called for unity, spiritual remembrance, and justice.
Kuadhimisha siku hii muhimu zaidi katika historia ya nchi yetu, ingawaji hawakuturuhusu kwenda mbele ya bunge na kuweka maua, tulipata kwamba bunge is barricade, barbed wire kila mahali, askari kila mahali. Na sisi hatuna ubaya, tunakumbuka vijana wetu na hatutalala maovu yakizidi kutendeka.
Leo tumekuja kujiunga na vijana wetu na familia zao. Tuko hapa na wale waathiriwa. Tumeomba na familia pale Holy Family Basilica. Tumeomba hapa All Saints Cathedral. Na tunataka tuambie Wakenya wote, popote ulipo, ujitokeze siku ya leo. Say a prayer for these families. Pray for justice.
And at the same time, there was calm in some parts of the country, with shops remaining closed and activity muted. Few pedestrians were seen walking on empty streets in several towns, even as police continue to appeal for law and order.
As demonstrations organized by Kenya's Gen Z movement are ongoing in remembrance of protesters who lost their lives during last year's nationwide protest against the Finance Bill 2024, some parts of the country remained calm. In Olkalau town, Nyandarua County, shops remained closed, bus stations deserted, with only a few motorbikes seen navigating the empty streets. However, security presence remains minimal as of this morning, with residents choosing to stay indoors.
Sasa hii kiwanja inakuanga imejaa magari. Hakuna mpaka abiria, hakuna nini. Sasa hii Gen Z imekaa tu hivyo. Tumegojea tu masaa ifike tuchukue nini tuende kwa barabara.
Naomba tu serikali wasikize mambo ya Gen Z, kwa sababu wetu wengi wako na shida sana. Mtu anaamuka asubuhi, hakuna pahali anaenda kazi. Na ikiwa hakuna pahali anaenda kazi, huyo mtu atakuwa mwizi, kwa sababu akona mahitaji yake, anahitaji kukula, kukunywa na mambo ingine. Na mtu amesoma, makaratasi yake yote iko kwa nyumba.
In Bungoma County, activity remained muted in Bungoma town, with few pedestrians on the road and no sign of demonstrations. County Police Commander Anderson Jagi has appealed to those who issued a picketing notice to maintain peace and order.
So far, we have received 2 notifications about the demos in commemoration of Gen Z's today, 25th of June 2025. We have 1 notification from Njue and another one from Bungoma. And the persons who have written the notification have committed themselves that the demonstrations will be peaceful and they will carry themselves with decorum without interfering with other persons.
He, however, assured residents that the police officers will be present to maintain law and order. While in Malindi town, calm was witnessed Wednesday morning as shops and businesses remained open with no reports of disruption. Kasichana Masha, Lunchtime News.
And away from that, a section of youth joined the National Heroes Council and presidential awardees at the Machakos GK prison for a tree planting exercise. The National Heroes Council Chief Executive Officer Charles Wambia called for partnerships with various institutions to enhance the country's tree cover and conserve the environment.
A section of youth joined the National Heroes Council and the Kenya Prison Service President-honored heroes and heroines for a tree planting exercise at Machakos GK prison. The initiative is part of efforts to combat climate crisis and conserve the environment.
Kuna njia mingi za kudemonstrate ama kuexplore grudge yako, si lazima uende kwa streets. Unaweza demonstrate na kupanda mti, kila shimo ipandwe miti. Today we have planted 5,000 trees in Machakos prisons.
I've been joined by quite a good number of youth. One of them is a student leader from JKUAT University and others from different areas in Machakos. And simply just to be busy, and some of them are saying they are planting trees.
Speaking during the event, the National Heroes Council Chief Executive Officer Charles Wambia said the council is looking forward for more fruitful engagements with several institutions.
We are also using this moment to announce to the public, kindly, if you have somebody within your area and your region who has done some work which can be recognized by this office, don't hide. When we put a call, just make an effort and bring or communicate to us.
Wambia said the council will continue to partner with youth from various institutions to improve forest cover and mitigate climate change.
The vision the council is having is not just being honored and stopping your work there. It is the continuity after the honor. So when you see some of us do this work with heroes, it's because we are stopping that aspect. You have been honored and then you rest with your medal and everything. No. Actually, you are being activated to be more proactive.
All the effort that our colleagues are doing, and I'm also urging my fellow colleagues also to put effort in what they are doing and believe in what they are doing, that it is good and for the better of others.
These trees you see here are carbon sinks. They are carbon receptors. These are the things that we need, many of them, to make sure that our horizon or our atmosphere has less carbon.
During the exercise, more than 5,000 trees were planted in Machakos GK prison compound.
Pia na oleander.
In other news, President William Ruto has praised the long-standing partnership between Kenya and the Aga Khan Development Network, particularly in health and education. This follows a high-level meeting at State House in Nairobi with His Highness Prince Rahim Aga Khan's envoy. The head of state also extended an official invitation to His Highness the Aga Khan to visit Kenya for the formal signing of an agreement recognizing the Ismaili Imamat. During the planned visit, His Highness will also be conferred with the Chief of the Order of the Golden Heart, Kenya's highest civilian honor. Moving on, the National Authority for the Campaign Against Drug Abuse, NACADA, is calling for a shift in focus to improving the lives of young people and the population through fighting alcohol and drug abuse. Speaking ahead of this year's commemoration of the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking to be marked on Thursday, NACADA Kericho County Coordinator Wendy Waithaka emphasized that the fight against the vice is a collective responsibility. Waithaka led a delegation from NACADA who visited Kericho Township Technical and Vocational College for a sensitization exercise.
This year, the theme for the International Day Against Drugs is "The evidence is clear, invest in prevention." Investing in prevention means investing in children and in young people, because when children and young people feel safe and healthy, then they are able to develop and stay away from drugs and other problems that affect their lives negatively.
The success of our learners in our institutions cannot come without emphasis on the need actually to do away with drugs in our institutions. And so we are happy that we are partnering. We are joining in this incredible journey of ensuring actually that our youths are free from drugs in our institutions.
Now, youth-led protests were witnessed in parts of the country in commemoration of the 2024 anti-finance bill protest. Protesters marched through the streets amid a heavy police deployment as they demanded justice. Security was heightened in and around restricted government installations.
There was heavy police deployment in Embu town. The majority of shops remain closed as traders opted to keep off their businesses in fear of vandalism. In Machakos town, youth took to the streets in a peaceful march to mark 1 year since the Gen Z protests. The commemorative walk began with a Kenyan national anthem and a solemn prayer, calling for peace, justice, and a renewed commitment to the ideals for which those youth died.
Tupo hapa Machakos, tutaandamana kwa street zote za Machakos kwa amani na hakuna mtu atavunja mali ya mtu.
In Kitengele, a contingent of anti-riot police were on site early morning to quell any acts of lawlessness. Police were forced to disperse a group of protesters who attempted to block access along the Namanga Highway. Nakuru, police barricaded major roads leading to the CBD as youth gathered to mark the first anniversary of the Gen Z-led protests. Police patrolled the streets to ensure calm. And in Nanyuki, youth held peaceful protests with the majority of businesses remaining closed, calling for justice for the victims of the June 25th anti-finance bill protests.
For our next news item comes from the Communication Authority of Kenya Director General and CEO. It reads the live coverage of demonstrations. The live coverage of the June 25th, 2025 demonstrations are contrary to Articles 33, subsection 2 and 34, subsection 1 of the Constitution of Kenya and section 461 of the Kenya Information and Communication Act of 1998. This is therefore to direct all television and radio stations to stop any live coverage of the demonstrations forthwith. Failure to abide by this directive will result in regulatory action as stipulated in the Kenya Information and Communication Act of 1998. The authority looks forward to your continued cooperation. Signed by David Mugonyi, who is the Director General and CEO of Communication Authority of Kenya. Again, to reiterate that the Communication Authority of Kenya has banned all the live coverage on TVs and radio stations, something we are keeping tabs on as well. Moving on, African Women in Agricultural Research and Development Award has launched the Gender Agri-Food Systems Policy GASP program, an initiative aimed at promoting gender-responsive policies to foster equitable and resilient agri-food systems across Africa. And according to Dr. Susan Karia, Director of Award, placing women at the center of agri-food system policy will create inclusive and equitable systems that benefit communities and economies across the continent. The GAS program will engage 50 mid-career African women policy professionals from Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Kenya, Madagascar, Mali, Nigeria, Togo, and Zambia.
Across Africa and around the world, women continue to face gender disparities. This is why gender-responsive agriculture policies are so essential. To create frameworks that allow women and men to thrive equally and to create the agri-food systems they want.
And as I said, we're really responding to this huge gender gap in research and leadership capacity in agri-food systems.
I want to begin by commending Award for launching this really bold and much needed initiative. It comes at a time when African agri-food systems are under enormous pressure, real intense pressure. When the demand for thoughtful, responsive, and implementable policy is rising.
Now, Kenyan exporters have been urged to take advantage of deepening ties between Kenya and China to expand their market. Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry says China's plan to open its market to more Kenyan goods will help boost trade between the two nations. Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry Kiambu Chapter Chairman Richard Ndongo says exporters should expand their exports to the Chinese market.
Population of Kenya, we are only around 50 million. If you go to China, they are 1.4 billion. Assume these orders, we have gotten them, we have linked with the market. Our people can trade a lot with the Chinese, and they are ready to do that. They have been coming here every day. You cannot miss a flight with a lot of Chinese. So this is the high time we take the advantage of this and we show them the market, and it is there.
We also want them to mobilize the local beauty industry to participate in this platform and to also to lift up the local industries. Now we believe through this type of cooperation, now the Chinese can come to the Kenya market, and also the Kenya companies can utilize this one to interact with the Chinese suppliers, and also to make friends, and also promote the Kenya products to go into the China market.
Now, hundreds of residents in Wasu Ward, Samburu County, have benefited from a one-week free eye checkup and eye surgeries. The event was organized by Health Yetu Foundation, a non-governmental organization in partnership with the county government. According to the organizers in the area is rampant with cataracts caused by the sun, smoke from firewood, and dust, which can be cured when detected early. Speaking during the event, one of the opticians, Seth Sami, called on the residents to observe hygiene and seek early eye checkups. Residents applauded the initiative, calling on other well-wishers to borrow a leaf.
It's a common issue in our places, particularly because they used to buy eye drugs over the counter. which is not maybe prescribed by medics. And at the end of the day, at least it is worsened their issues.
And it can be cured quite easily. So people cannot see anymore because they are. It looks like a big dust. But if you remove the lens and put a new lens in it, people can see again. So that's why we are giving back the site together with the Lions Site First Eye Hospital.
Natafuta dawa. Sasa ndiyo hii napokea dawa ya macho. Sasa ndiyo hii sasa natengenezwa macho. Ilikuwa dawa patikani hivi. Sasa leo Mungu nabarikia sisi napata.
Kazi itaendelea kwa siku 5 na tunaomba watu walete watu wakuja wapate huduma ambaye ni ya bure ili watu wasaidike na hii huduma imeletwa mashinani.
From Samburu to Turkana, where the Ministry of Agriculture has distributed 4,400 goats in Turkana County in its livestock restocking exercise. The exercise, which benefited 72 families, was led by Turkana County Commissioner Julius Kavita and is intended to uplift the living standards of these vulnerable families through livestock production.
Hizi mbuzi si za kuuza, waende wasalishe. Next time hatutanunua kutoka mbali, tutakuwa tunanunua kutoka kwa hao wenyewe, kwa sababu tunataka kila mtu ambao ni vulnerable awe anaweza kujistahimili.
Mama, ukiwa hapa na mzee wako amechukua mbuzi, hakikisha ya kwamba hiyo mbuzi imefika nyumbani ndio uweze kupata faida ya hii mbuzi.
To the war on graft, where the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission EACC is cautioning accounting officers in both national and county governments against attempts to corruptly deplete coffers before the 2024-2025 financial year ends. EACC says those found culpable will bear individual responsibility. Cliff Okech with the report.
Cognizant of the threat corruption poses to service delivery in counties, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission EACC is conducting sensitization forums for the devolved units on the need to protect public resources against pilferage.
Because we are talking about county government.
At such a forum for Bungoma County's top leadership on Tuesday, EACC warned senior officers against colluding with the juniors to pilfer public funds through proxy companies and dubious travel allowances.
There are some emerging forms of corruption that we are noticing. The corrupt are innovative. Sometimes you look at the intellect and the level of skill that is applied to planning corruption, and you just wish that this could have been used to further public interest.
Let me be clear that there is no place for corruption, favoritism, or negligence in this administration. We must be bold in making difficult decisions that promote ethical governance. The fight against corruption is not the responsibility of investigative agencies alone. It begins with our own conduct and decisions and our leadership.
In a speech read on his behalf, EACC Chief Executive Officer Abdi Mohamud also warned public officers against diverting public funds for personal gains.
We are now approaching the closure of the current financial year 2024-2025. The Commission is vigilant on this matter and reminds all accounting officers of their responsibility to ensure compliance with the financial management laws, regulations and procedures, and to safeguard the public funds entrusted to their care and control.
EACC is also urging counties to fully cooperate as it scrutinizes budgetary allocations in the new financial year to curb budgeted corruption.
The United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, and the M-Pesa Foundation have signed a memorandum of understanding to improve access to essential reproductive, maternal, newborn, child and adolescent health services in Kenya. The collaboration will focus on strengthening Kenya's health systems with a special emphasis on emergency obstetric and newborn care, skilled birth attendants and digital health innovations.
The two organizations have come together in a partnership aimed at transforming maternal and child health across the country, particularly for underserved areas where access to quality health services remains limited.
15 women die in Kenya every day as a result of childbirth, and it should be the happiest day of a woman the day she gives birth, not a fatal accident that could be prevented.
M-Pesa Foundation Chairman Nicholas Nganga said the partnership brings together the technological expertise of the M-Pesa Foundation and the critical healthcare knowledge of UNFPA to tackle systemic inequities.
For instance, in hospitals, we go and find that the facilities for maternal care, for antenatal care, postnatal care are not quite adequate, and we have to supplement these.
Despite significant progress in skilled birth attendance, maternal and neonatal mortality rates in Kenya remain high, with 355 maternal deaths per 100,000 live births and 21 neonatal deaths per 1,000 live births. These figures highlight the persistent inequities that hinder access to quality care, often due to geographical barriers and social disparities. The UNFPA and M-Pesa Foundation partnership will leverage mobile technology and telecommunication networks to ensure health services reach even the most remote parts of the country.
I feel that the most important part of this partnership is to foster innovation, where we send out information to the public about these public health issues.
We can also incorporate telemedicine, which is being able to diagnose diseases online and be able to give a prescription so that people don't have to actually go to a hospital for the purpose of diagnosis.
By expanding access to skilled birth attendants and providing emergency care, this partnership aims to drastically reduce maternal and neonatal deaths, ensuring that every mother and child has a fighting chance at a healthy life. Maria Mo reporting for the Prime Edition.
A section of residents of Turasha in Nyandarua County have protested the death in police custody of a 44-year-old man, Simon Ndombe Elias Ruigi. The angry lot demanded justice, calling for the immediate removal of all officers stationed at Turasha Police Post. This and more stories in our county news wrap.
At Turasha Police Post in Nyandarua, residents gathered angered by the death of a 44-year-old man, Simon Thumbi Elias Ruigi, while in police custody.
Lakini kwa hii station hakuna haki sisi huwa tunapata. Juu hiyo kijana alishikiwa pale karibu na Keriko Bar, akaletwa kwa station. Maradi cruiser zikakaa hapa kwa muda kama lisali 3 hivi. Alafu tena ripoti yenye ilitokea saa 11 na jamaa alikuwa ameshikwa saa 6 ikielekea, tunaambiwa amejinyonga. Na ukiangalia pale amejinyongea, yeye ni wa kiumo kama mita 2 kwenda juu. Lakini pale alijinyongea ni kama futi 4. How inawezekana hiyo aje?
So mimi naomba haki yangu ipatikane, na ile haki inaanza ni hao maafisa wote kuanzia mkubwa sana wote waondoke hapa.
Kipipiri Sub-County Police Commander Bridget Kilonzo assured residents that the Independent Policing Oversight Authority IPOA will investigate the death.
Wakuje waende waone mahali inasemekana mwenda zake alijinyongea. CID waliona, lakini pia wakija tutakuja hiyo group yote tutaletana hapa mpaka waone. Na ndio unaona kumefungwa. Sio adiko kitu tunaficha.
Elsewhere, residents of Isiolo County, drawn from the 10 wards on Tuesday, took part in a public participation exercise on the impeachment of Isiolo County Governor Abdi Ibrahim Guyo.
Sisi gavana yetu tuko na amani na yeye, na ako na amani, yeye ni mtu ya maendeleo, kutokea amekuja amefanya maendeleo mingi.
Meanwhile, a section of youths in Homa Bay County have distanced themselves from the planned Gen Z demonstrations scheduled to take place across the country on Wednesday.
Hatutakuwa kwa maandamano, ila kwa hizo kazi zinafanyika hapa Homa Bay, tukienda kwa maandamano hakuna vile hao watu watakuwa watajenga hizi barabara.
hakuna vile ile kazi inaenda kule paya itaendelea.
Sentiments echoed by the Bunge la Wananchi members in Migori County.
Let them maybe select a church somewhere or some place, a very good place. Let them sit down, let them light up their candles, let them have all those celebrations, let them commemorate, and let us be peaceful.
In Nairobi, the Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service hosted a focus group on safe food and humanitarian aid forum to root for safeguarding agriculture while delivering humanitarian aid.
Whatever food materials coming through Kenya, KBC inspects and ensures that food is safe and the food is free from pests and diseases.
Opicho Chemtai.
Very well, at about 1:30, we are due for fast break time for me and my colleague Wangesh to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more news.
Looking to advertise on KBC? KBC announcement services are now available on eCitizen. Visit kbc.ecitizen.go.ke and fill out the online application form. It's simple. 1. Complete the form. 2. Upload required documents. 3. Receive a quotation based on word count. And 4. Get notified via SMS when your announcement is ready. Please note, clearly indicate the type of announcement, service station, and all relevant details. 2. All applications must be made online only. Manual submissions will not be accepted. And 3. Announcements will air after news bulletins. For assistance, reach us on email ecitizen@kbc.co.ke or use our social media handles, Facebook, your Facebook account, and X at your X account. Or you can call us on 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124. KBC announcements. Simple, fast, and digital.
Nakuuliza, nilikukosea?
Wazungumzia nini? Usi wakati wa kuigiza rafiki yangu. Ni malipikiza ijapokuwa dadako. Lakini wazungumzia nini?
Moyo wangu waniasi.
Wakuasi?
Sitaki kumuona. Sina ruhusa ya kutawala moyo wake.
Nina mimba yako na nahakikishia huyu tamlea sote.
Kumbuka nilivyokuonya.
Utanifanya nini?
Peni nafasi tafadhali.
Kuna jambo la muhimu sana ningependa kujadiliana naye.
Hamuhitaji msaada wowote. Nakuonya Shaurembo. Nakuonya. Wewe mwenyewe ndio unaniambia kwa hiyo nitaja. Au
Welcome back and many thanks for keeping it Channel 1. Moving on, the Ministry of Health has partnered with biopharmaceutical company Pfizer to reduce the cost of 140 medical products across 3 key areas of cancer, chronic diseases and infectious diseases at a cost that is 60% less than the market price. The partnership will expand access to affordable quality medicines and vaccines in Kenya.
A section of Kenyans seeking medical treatment for cancer and chronic illnesses like diabetes via the Social Health Authority has been complaining that the tariffs do not cover the cost of drugs, forcing them to pay out of pocket.
For example, when we say that the Social Health Authority will pay 600,000 for cancer, people tell us, but the cost is too much. You know, I am being told to add more money. So we are also working on that to make sure that the cost of the cancer medicines, the cost of the diabetic medicines are within the tariffs that we are paying within the Social Health Authority.
So Kenya adopting the accord sends a signal that US companies with iconic company like Pfizer coming up with this innovative framework to make medicine and vaccines accessible, along with other benefits, shows that American companies are not there just for making money in business.
This narrative is about to change after the Ministry of Health partnered with biopharmaceutical company Pfizer to provide 140 medicines and vaccines priced on a not-for-profit basis to support national healthcare goals. This collaboration tends to bridge that gap by providing Kenyans with over 140 medical products that will treat diseases such as cancer, chronic illnesses, and infectious diseases. Medical Services Principal Secretary Dr. Oma Oluga said that through the accord, Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, KEMSA, will be able to procure Pfizer's full portfolio of medicines and vaccines.
Especially infectious diseases, we are having a lot of antibiotics that are already getting resistant. So we are now going to get access to antibiotics that are not resistant, that are very potent, at a cost that is 60% less than the cost that is in the market.
We make our portfolio of medicines and vaccines accessible at a not-for-profit cost. And these are hundreds of medicines. And just for perspective, these medicines represent about 25% of the World Health Organization's essential medicines.
The partnership, which aligns with the Universal Health Coverage agenda, will also leverage on research and capacity building for health workers.
The National Assembly Environment Committee will undertake an inquiry into the alleged dumping of toxic nuclear waste in the northeastern region. The committee on Tuesday engaged Wajir South MP Ado Mohammed and Garissa County Governor Nathif Jama, who attributed the rising cases of cancer cases in the region to nuclear waste that they said were buried in various parts of the region in the 1990s. The inquiry into how the government allowed nuclear waste from foreign nations to be dumped in Kenya also came about in that discussion. Let's have more.
A petition by Wajir South MP Ado Mohammed seeking remedial measures for health risks and damages inflicted on residents of northeastern region following alleged dumping of nuclear waste in the region is now before the National Assembly Environment Committee. Appearing before the committee, the petitioner tabled geographical coordinates of specific areas where the toxic wastes were buried and called on the Environment Committee to conduct an inquiry.
The government, through the Ministry of Energy, okayed the dumping of toxins, including nuclear waste in northeastern region. Research has proven the nuclear waste is associated with high cases of cancer. Owing to the harmful effects of nuclear waste, the claims of nuclear dumping in northeastern region have stirred discomfort about health challenges experienced especially among residents who believe that the rampant cases can be traced back to the dumping of nuclear waste.
Garissa Governor Nathif Jama tabled data from Garissa County Regional Cancer Center, which serves the northeastern region, that shows the number of cancer cases has been rising.
But in 2023, we had 440 cancer cases. In 2024, we had 1,347. And as of now, about 650 before this year comes to close. So after about June this year, about 640. So that clearly shows the increasing number of cases, of cancer cases, and be disturbing.
When you total up, I'm seeing the cases of cancer as a result of this. If we are to conclude that, it is 2,427. And I think this one might be the leading in Africa, not only in Kenya.
The numbers, the 2,400, are those who have arrived at the Garissa Regional Cancer Center and are being treated there. A great deal of people in the rural areas choose to suffer in silence and don't come to the hospitals, mostly due to lack of knowledge.
The MPs are committing to conduct a speedy inquiry that will culminate in enhancing the regulatory framework on nuclear waste management.
There is a whole national discussion around nuclear energy in the country. And obviously such discussion does not inspire a lot of confidence. And with the preparations we've been doing to to gear ourselves towards establishing power plants, nuclear power plants, because every other person's fear is that once we have the power plants, do we properly manage our waste?
Unfortunately, we do not know the companies, just like we do not know the true detail of what was buried.
The inquiry into how the government allowed nuclear waste from foreign nations to be dumped in Kenya comes at a time when Parliament has allocated a budget to the establishment of the first nuclear plant in Kenya.
Now, players in the remote pilot aircraft system, which largely involves use of drones, are calling for enhanced collaboration with the pilot aircraft sector to create standardization amongst international countries' airspace. Speaking during the International Civil Aviation First Advanced Air Mobility Symposium, the director, Kenya Civil Aviation Authority in charge of safety, Mary Keter, emphasized the need for sensitization or sensitizing the public on drones operations and opportunities available in the sector. Her sentiments were echoed by Fahari Aviation General Manager Hawkins Wambua, who urged regulators and operators to invest in technology.
We do believe that by raising the awareness on this document, we can ensure that the whole civil aviation community is more safe, is more secure. And we very often see or think that, if there's no conflict in my particular country, it doesn't impact me. But we have to remain cognizant that
there is the safety, the promotion part, where you can see one of these seminars is a way of communicating this to the industry. The CAA also does publications which could come in AIP supplements. There could be NOTAMs, notice to airmen out there. There is a way of sensitizing the industry and reaching out to them so that these new and emerging trends are well communicated to all.
In other news, the government has been urged to consider improving the public sporting facilities as part of boosting sports activities hand in hand with academics under the curriculum-based education. Education and sports stakeholders in Nairobi have lamented that the lack of a safe space for sports in the country is hampering the government's quest to ensure learners enjoy a holistic learning environment. They are, in particular, demanding the immediate stop to the grabbing of land set aside for sporting activities in residential areas.
When you look at the way we are building our houses today, we think about skyscrapers, we add the space, more students to come and learn. But we are not giving kids the space to excel.
So let's create these sort of spaces which are safe spaces that are going to ensure that our kids can come out, ventilate or just release the tension that builds a lot when you're in a classroom.
As a school, we are very clear, we are very keen on holistic development of each learner. And that's why we decided to come up with our mantra for today, that is preparing their future through sports and science.
Like now we are embracing the CBE system of education, and we are sure that with this kind of facility, we are not only going to impact our students within the classroom walls, but we are going to take them out to the field so that they learn more practical ways of problem solving and critical thinking.
Family Bank shareholders have approved a dividend payout of 85 cents per share for the 2024 financial year. Family Bank Chairman Lazarus Mwema says 1.1 billion shillings has been set aside for the dividend payout, representing a 53% increase in dividend payout from the year 2023.
Family Bank shareholders have approved 1.1 billion shillings, translating to 0.5 cents per share dividends. Family Bank shareholders have approved 1.1 billion shillings, translating to 0.5 cents per share dividend payout for the 2024 financial year. The dividends represents a 53% increase from the 2023 payout, when shareholders approved a distribution of 723 million shillings. Family Bank Chairman Lazarus Mwema says this year payout follows a 38% surge in profit after tax, which closed at 3.4 billion shillings for the year ended 2024. Family Bank CEO Nancy Njue stated that the bank is committed to strengthening its position in the market, adding that the bank's strategy is to place strong emphasis on innovation, digital transformation, customer centricity, data-driven decision-making, and sustainable growth. Benson Rioba reporting for Lunchtime News.
Tour Operator Society of Kenya says destroying Nairobi National Park would wipe out Kenya's competitive edge, leading to massive job losses and reduce the country's standing in global conservation. This follows ongoing debate on whether to relocate the park to pave the way for human development. Nairobi National Park is the only national park in a city within the world and one of the most popular national parks in Kenya.
Nairobi National Park, the oldest in the country and a global conservation landmark, is now at the center of a heated debate: development versus environmental protection. The Tour Operator Society of Kenya, TOSC, has strongly condemned Atwoli's proposal, terming it economically destructive and ecologically suicidal. Now, the society says the park, located less than 30 minutes from Nairobi's CBD, is a vital anchor for the tourism sector, contributing over 450 billion shillings in revenue. In a statement, the society's chair, Daniel Mbogwa, has warned that the closure of the park would trigger mass unemployment across the tourism value chain, collapse Nairobi's appeal as a MICE destination, lead to the loss of biodiversity with over 400 bird species and 100 mammal species at risks, while causing irreversible environmental damage, including rising urban heat and air pollution. Experts also warn that relocating wildlife to already strained Masai Mara ecosystem could result in ecological collapse and high mortality rates among translocated animals. The society is now calling on President William Ruto and Tourism Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano to reject the proposal and enact legislation to permanently protect the park from political interference. Wairi Mujenga for Lunchtime News.
In sports, 18-year-old Fanuel Koech broke away from a quality field in the World Continental Tour Gold meeting in Ostrava, Czechia, to set a meeting record of 3 minutes 29.05 seconds in the 1500 meters last night. Fanuel, who was on another record-breaking feat recently in Paris, where he set a world under-20 record of 3 minutes 27.72 seconds in the 1500 meters, despite a second placing, was followed by Portugal's Isaac Nada and the world Indo 800 meters champion Josh Howie. Nada clocked 3 minutes 29.37 seconds as Howie clocked 3 minutes 29.75 seconds. 3 other records were also smashed in the Ostrava meeting. Mondo Duplati set a meeting record of 6.13 in the pole vault, while the world Indo champion Prudence Segodiso ran the 800 meter in a minute 57.16 seconds. Bahrain sprinter Salwa Ed Nassar clocked 49.15 seconds in the 400 meters to erase the 1983 record of 49.67 seconds set by Talanta Kosembova.
Still looking strong as far as in 4th place, but this leading pair are away now as Koech hits the front once again. Koech, just 18 years old, a fabulous second in Paris, just 4 days away, 4 days ago, and he's going to win this one tonight. Koech winning from Nada. Howie just outdips the leader, the Myers there in 4th place. The winning time.
Moving on, Benfica beat Bayern Munich 1-0 to progress into the Club World Cup last 16 as Group C winners amid sweltering temperatures in the United States. Bayern had already qualified and boss Vincent Kompany made 7 changes from the side that beat Argentina's Boca Juniors 2-1 on Friday.
Andreas Shederup scored the only goal in the 13th minute with a low finish from 15 yards as Benfica beat Bayern 1-0 to qualify for the last 16.
All the way across, and Sheldrup is there against the giants of Munich. Andreas Sheldrup stands tall.
Striker Liam Delap scored his first Chelsea goal as the Blues qualified for the knockout stages with a 3-0 win over AS Tunis.
There's a header by Tosin! Free header for the big Chelsea centre-back.
Auckland drew 1-1 with Boca Juniors as Los Angeles drew 1-1 with Flamengo.
Correct. Floats this one in, and oh, they have scored! It's Gray with the biggest goal. It's through now here for Danny Boanga. Onside, goal, and a first of its kind for LAFC. They have their goal at the FIFA Club World Cup. Jorginho through. It's Wallace Yan in behind. Instant response.
Very well, and on that note, we've come to the tail end of the broadcast. Many thanks indeed for keeping me company. My name is Njue, and Wangesha has been my colleague handling the sign language interpretation. Don't forget to check out our social media spaces for these news plus much more, including our KBC digital app. Many thanks indeed for joining us. Do have yourself a blessed afternoon.
Mwajiri wako ambaye ni Bwana Ondieki Nyukakwota alikuwa na silaha hatari kwake kule nyumbani, ikiwemo mpaka guruneti na vilipukizi.
Tulimshika sababu alitupea false information.
Si wewe ulisema wewe ni kuku ya Ondieki. Sasa mimi wewe nauliza mimi.
No, I'm asking you about security. Kule utendo ufumo mpaka meno. Upigie simu nikwambie, askari, kuja hapa kwa hospitali kuna bomu. Utakuja?
Nitakuja, si ndio? Kufanya sio kitu ya kuchezea.
Uko na nuclear, si ndio?
Tena. Sasa nuclear ni bunduki, si ni bomu.
Anaweza kuwa yuko nazo mheshimiwa.
To go look for her.
Unajua Gloria amejificha.
Mali imefika, afadhali nichukue watoto niende tu niishi nao kwangu. No, please don't say that.
Kama nakupigia kelele, utoke kwa nyumba brother yangu.
Mimi sitaki kisirani na wewe, asubuhi yote tafadhali.
Watch your tongue. You have a very loose tongue to be a wife and to be a woman.
Enough already.
Where's babe? Auntie Gloria did not show up.
Ati, are you sure?
I got tired of waiting.
Unajua kwa nini Gloria alichukua huyo mtoto? I don't, and why should I? You know. Think about it. You'll figure it out. What?
The men and women in boots. They are commanded to defend and protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Republic of Kenya. Their bravery knows no limits.
Make a man go through the wall without breaking the wall.
Laziness. It is not in our vocabulary.
But what are their stories, their tales? Military Tales, every Saturday at 9 p.m. with Njue.
Hujambo mpenzi mtazamaji, natumai ubuheri wa afya.
Ni wiki nyingine tumekutana kwenye kipindi chetu cha mkulima.
Ni kipindi kinachokupa wewe mkulima mdogo, mkubwa au yeyote anayenuia kuanzisha kilimo,
mbinu za kisasa za ukulima, ufugaji, kuongeza dhamana hadi teknolojia inayorahisisha ufugaji.
Tukiwa tayari kujifunza mbinu tofauti na za kisasa pamoja na teknolojia zinazoimarisha afya.
Niite Uini Mandi.
Na wanaonijua wananiita Boniface Mutunga. Kilimo cha mboga ni kilimo chenye tija sana kwa sababu ukiangazia kwa karibu mboga zinaliwa na familia zote hapa nchini na pia huwezi ukakosa soko. Sasa kilimo cha mboga mjini kinawezekanaje? Sasa wiki hii tunamtembelea mkulima ambaye anafanya kilimo cha mboga asili hapa katika eneo la Kasarani. Wacha tukajue na atufunze anafanyaje.
Hili ni eneo la Kasarani mjini Nairobi. Kama miji mingine ile, ni vigumu kuzingatia kilimo kwa sababu ya uhaba wa shamba na wingi wa majumba makubwa. Tulikutana na Bwana Waweru anayezingatia kilimo mjini tangu mwaka 2007.
Mimi ni mkulima wa urban farming. Urban farming ni kusema kwamba kuna wakulima wanakuza mimea mjini. Watu wengi wanaamini ya kwamba hakuna ukulima inaweza kuendelea mjini. Kwa hivyo leo nafikiri mnaweza kujionea ya kwamba kuna ukulima ambaye inaendelea Nairobi City.
Naye anazingatia kilimo cha mboga asili ndani ya greenhouse na nje shambani bila kutumia kemikali zozote.
Wakati unafanya ukulima wako, ni vizuri uelewe unapanda mboga uuzie kila nani. Hawa watu wangependa mboga aina gani? Chakula chao ni gani wanapenda? Sababu lazima uwe na market. Katika Nairobi tuna market. Manyumba imekuja mengi makubwa. Hii ni concrete, simiti. Lakini wale wanaishi kule ndani ni binadamu na wanataka kuikula. Lazima uelewe watakula nini na wanapendelea nini. Kwa hivyo ukianza ukulima lazima ujue market yako ni aina gani. Utafiti unaonyesha ya kwamba mboga ni chakula muhimu sana kwa binadamu. Kwa hivyo wanapendelea mboga kama sasa mchicha, managu, spinach, kunde pia tunapanda. Kuna ingine inaitwa mburenda, especially Waluya wanapenda sana mburenda, mito, kuna saga pia Wakisii. Na katika market yako hapa nje, hao wote ni wale watu wanapenda kula hizo mboga. Kwa hivyo unaangalia kwamba ni mboga aina gani ambayo inaenda. 3, wale watu wanakuja kununua mboga kwako ndio waende wakauze, wanapendelea nini. Kwa hivyo ukijua wanapendelea hivi, unapanda hiyo mboga. Pia unaangalia mchanga yako ni sawa, mchanga wako ni uko sawa. Mara nyingi sisi ujaribu kurecommend ufanye uchunguzi kwa mchanga yako, ufanye utafiti mchanga yako, ujue mchanga yako una miss nini, ndio uweze kuongeza ili mimea yako ukipanda inawili.
Hivyo anabaini kilimo mjini si kigumu na pia si rahisi, lakini lazima ufanye utafiti ujue soko lako ni watu wa aina ipi. Mbali na hilo, lazima ujue jinsi ya kulima kwa njia ambazo hazitahitilafu na maisha ya majirani zako ama kwenda kinyume cha sheria za miji.
Ukulima wa Nairobi ama mji ni lazima uelewe ukulima wako kwa sababu ya hakuna mvua. Jua ni kali. Ndege wako pia lazima uangalie majirani wako. Lazima uzuie zile complain zinatoka kwa hao majirani. Complain zako za wandege, complain zako za mvua lazima uelewe. Kwa hivyo lazima utumie mbinu nyingi, aina nyingi. Mbinu moja ni kutafuta shade net ambapo inaweza kuzuia jua kali. Sababu Nairobi sengine kunakosa mvua. Jua ni kali sana. Kwa hivyo mimea haiwezi kuwa mzuri. Tunatumia shade net ambayo ina reduce by 35% ya hiyo jua. Kwa hivyo mimea yako unaweza kuidhibiti katika shade net. Hiyo ni njia moja. Unaweza pia kutengeneza greenhouse. Greenhouses pia unaweza kutumia kwa sababu unataka kutumia maji kidogo lakini pia upate mimea mingi, unaweka drip irrigation ndani yake. Pia unazuia yale wadudu wengi kuja kuvamia mimea yako. Kwa hivyo katika ukulima wa mji lazima utumie hizo mbinu zote ambayo inaweza kuzuia wewe kutokuwa na kitu mfukoni. Kwa hivyo mimea yangu naipanda, unaweza kupanda na unafanya kitu naita crop rotation. Huwezi kupanda kitu moja kutoka mwaka uanze mpaka mwaka uanze mwingine, unapanda tu. Kama ni mchicha unapanda mchicha, kama ni sukuma, lazima ubadilishe ili uweze kupata mimea yako iweze kukua sawa. Pia unatumia mbinu ya kuweka manyua, mbolea. Lazima ujue mbolea yako utaipata namna gani. Kwa hivyo katika ukulima wa mjini ni vizuri utumie mbinu zote. Kuna zingine tunaita multi story ambao zinakuza mahali kidogo, na unaweza kupanda mboga zako ukakula wewe na pia ukauzia mwenzako. Na pia unapata nafasi ya kuweka pesa mfukoni. Nafikiri tukiendelea kwa shamba hii utaona vile tumefanya. Tunapata crop rotation, ukipanda hii leo unapanda hiyo nyingine siku nyingine. Na lazima pia ujue ni mimea gani ambayo inarudisha oxygen katika mchanga. Hiyo ni vitu kama mahindi, pia vitu kama cowpeas, kitu kama maharagwe. Ukijua hivyo unatengeneza mchanga wako ili upate oxygen. Ukipanda mimea yako inapata kunawili. Kwa hivyo lazima utumie mbinu zote ambayo ziko na unaweza kufaulu.
Akiwa pia mfugaji wa ng'ombe, imekuwa rahisi sana kwake kupata mbolea kwa ajili ya mboga zake. Na ili majirani wasipige kelele kwa sababu ya harufu cha kinyesi cha ng'ombe wakati anapochanganya mbolea yake na kuiwacha iive, yeye huitia ndani ya greenhouse, hivyo kuiva kwa haraka bila majirani kununa.
Mimi pia ni mkulima wa ng'ombe. Na niliona bioproducts ya ng'ombe. Kuna maziwa ambayo pia unaweza pata. Katika hiyo maziwa unaweza pata yogurt, cheese, ghee, kila aina. Ice cream unapata hapo. Na mbali na hiyo, kupata hiyo ng'ombe ikupatie pia nyama, inakupatia mbolea. Na hiyo mbolea ndio tunatumia ili tuweze kukuza mimea yetu. Na ukitumia hiyo ni organic. Kwa hivyo, kwa sababu mimi ni mkulima wa ng'ombe, na ningependa sana kuchukua hiyo mbolea na kurudisha kwenye shamba, na ndio unaona mimea yangu inanawili. Mimi hutumia mbolea natural, organic.
Ili uzingatie kilimo mjini, lazima utambue changamoto za kilimo mjini ni zipi na jinsi ya kuepuka changamoto hizo.
Mwanzo ni maji, hakuna mvua. Pili ni wadudu. Lazima ujue namna ya kukaa na wadudu. Tatu ni lazima ujue kwamba utapata wapi maji hayo. Maji yako utaipata vipi? Hapa kwangu nimeangalia nyumba yangu yote. Kila structure nimetengeneza hapa ambayo iko na mabati ama iko na paa. Nimeharness hiyo maji yote. Nimetengeneza underground tank. Juu ni unatumia kwa kulisha ng'ombe ama ni zizi la ng'ombe, ama juu inakuwa ni store, lakini chini kuna maji. Unaokota hayo maji yote, alafu tena unaipiga na mashine, inaenda kwa tangi juu, una release. Kwa hivyo unaweza kulima. Challenge kubwa ni hiyo ya maji. Challenge nyingine ni hiyo ya kusema mchanga wako. Nyingine ni pests. Hakuna hiyo pests, ile madawa iko ni yale madawa ambayo si sawa. Kwa hivyo tunatupia sisi hutumia mimea ingine kurepel ama kuzuia wadudu wa kuja kuingia. Hivyo hiyo ni challenge kubwa ambayo tunajaribu kuifanya. Na pili, ile structure ziko